During this special time of year, we here at the Real Review 3000 and Chaos Central would like to thank you for all the support you have shown us this year. It is with our gratitude that we wish you and your family and friends, and even those who may disagree with us, the fandom menace, a happy and safe holiday season. Merry Christmas and happy holidays.
Got it. Tech 9, let's go.
KCMO, roll.
I'm representing
KCMO, roll.
Yeah.
What is up, everyone? I am Chris Knight, and this is the Real Review 3000 and also Chaos Central with The Rule of Three, our weekly Wednesday show where we talk about 3 topics picked randomly by the Wheel of Topics. And as usual, I have one of my partners in crime here today, and that is Biggaford Entertainment, or better known as Nzo to all of you guys. Nzo, how you doing today? You're muted.
Hey, what's up, man? I forgot to take myself off mute.
No, you're good.
What's up, guys? How you doing? Doing good.
All right, good. And Mr. Danny Graham of Comic Chat is unable to be here tonight. They had some unfortunate stuff happen where he works, and he's currently picking up workload where he's at. So hopefully before long we'll have that figured out, but things happen. So tonight, graciously, Mr. LDG Pixels has been here before, I think, or at least you've been on other Chaos Central shows. But you're here tonight to help us with the Rule of Three. We greatly appreciate you being here, LDG.
Oh, Lord, here we go.
Can't rely on anyone these days. You gotta do everything yourself. Don't we?
No, brakes! Guys, why aren't the brakes working?
Because I cut the brakes! Wild card, bitches! Yeah!
What?
And here we go.
I love it. Hello. You still got your you still had the
I swear, why can't we just get a hey normal, how you guys doing? But no, he has to be extra.
he has to act like, look at all this fancy stuff I can do, which I have
gotta do everything myself.
I have to admit,
How's
it's
it
pretty
going,
cool.
everybody?
It's great. I enjoy it. But let's see here. Nobody in the chat yet because I think, like I said, I misrepresented the time on this, which doesn't help anything. He has to act. Look at all this fancy stuff. Whoa! What the heck? Oh yeah.
Get
What the heck? I thought that was
stuff?
me for a second.
Me too. I was
No,
like, pickle starting shit again.
It was Twitter because I had the
P1.
tweet up on that. Yeah, I need to turn off B1. But how you guys doing tonight? Doing good? Why don't you tell everybody?
I'm fine.
Okay, well, why don't you tell everybody about your channels and where you can be found? Start with you, Nzo, as usual. Go ahead and tell everybody about yourself.
Guys, you know what the channel, you know where to find me, Biggaford Entertainment, Rule of Three, Chaos List, Chaos Conversation. I really do appreciate all you guys that come and support us. We got Square One, we got Equilibrium, we got the OOC, all these shows that we're trying to do. I do appreciate you guys watching them and checking them out.
Indeed. Absolutely right. Next up, Mr. LDG Pixels. Go ahead and tell them about yourself, Pixels.
What's going on, guys? LDG Pixels here. I'm back. Yes, voice is stronger than ever, and there's plenty to be said. Check me out Monday through Friday in the morning between 11 and 12 on LDG Pixels. Makes myself available for your tech issues, questions, help needed, free tech support. come and get me. Later in the afternoon on Pixelate, where we do the waiting room, only guaranteed to be slightly better than watching paint dry, waiting for someone cooler to stream, promoting those who deserve it, having open topics, open panels, watch parties, you name it, we do it, having lots of fun. If you are not watching anyone else, you are watching, you are waiting. So might as well wait in the waiting room. Also, Project Prometheus, change the world, control over your digital footprint, and power over what you want to see, think, and hear, say, and do, unlike all the other what's happening right now in today's social media world. Thank you very much for having me today and calling me on such short notice. We're going to have some fun tonight.
I will say this. I think we came up with a good tagline now. Prometheus, making what should be.
Exactly. And I've tied in Prometheus to my channel. We have officially Prometheus is now listening and here to help us. Almighty Prometheus, are you feeling good? Is today a good day to be alive? Definitely. Yes. There we go.
Oh, was that expecting an answer? Shit, my bad.
Well, it
I
showed
heard
up right there.
Prometheus and I blocked out. You know what I mean?
Oh. All right. Well, guys, you know, if you've seen this show before, you know how this goes. It's very simple. 3 topics picked by this right here, the wheel of topics, and then we get 3 minutes to talk about them. We don't have to use the full 3 minutes, but if we do, that's perfectly fine also. And we'll just do it. You guys know how this works. Let's just spin this wheel and see what we get for our first topic.
Round and round she goes.
What is the best streaming service currently offered? What is the best streaming service currently offered? Put that into the chat. And we'll bring up the 3-minute timer. Who would like to go first?
I'll start.
Fair enough. Whoa. Well,
look at this. Look at this.
I
out of control. Out of control.
Yeah, shit happens.
Tame your wheel.
I will not tame my wheel, and that does not count right now. All right. Let's attempt to do this now.
Oh, and it lands on my question when it doesn't count. Yeah.
Thank God.
Sorry. I gotta wait now here because Vegas is wanting to start up.
You can't control your mouse. You can't control your wheels. What's the next thing that's going to go on this channel tonight?
Don't ask. Do not ask, because who knows? All right. 3 minutes. Nzo, go.
Okay, so the first thing I want to say is how the hell do we have a show and Chris puts the wrong time on the show so that the chat can't even get there properly at the right time? That's the question that should be asked. You know what I mean? Then you've seen what he did with the Vegas messing up, and Chris is just like on fire today, but it's okay.
Yeah, and what is that called here? Oh yeah, ego checked. That's right. That's what that is right there. I'm gonna give you your 3 minutes though.
Damn, I got ego checked on the Rumble. I mean on the Rule of 3. I think that's the first. Yeah,
it is. I'm gonna be using it more. Okay, 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the best streaming service still is Netflix. You know, I'm sorry, but I don't have certain. In Canada here, I don't have certain streaming services that I compare with. I can't try Hulu. I can't try HBO Max. You know what I mean? So what I have is Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, Netflix, and Crave. I've had Crave and Apple TV. Have that too. Apple TV, I thank God I got a free for a year of my Apple, because when I first clicked on it and I started to look for things, I was like, oh, it looks interesting. Oh shit, I gotta pay for this? Oh, it looks interesting. Oh shit, I gotta pay for this too? Fuck that. And then I never went back on it again. Danny said I think it was Danny or someone said there was Rob said there was a show that's pretty good on it with Chris Evans, but that's free. So, but I haven't checked it out. I like Amazon Prime. I do, because Amazon Prime not only has, the movies, but I have Shudder. I have kind of like stations on there too. So I like my Amazon Prime. But I mean, it's Netflix, hands down. Netflix has the most subscribers. They have the most content. They're always having new content on there, I think more than any other streaming service right now. So until any one of these companies can surpass Netflix, right now it's the number one streaming service that there is. I'm a bootlegger, so I don't really need these streaming services, but I still have them. You know what I mean? Because I mean, I pay for them. You know what I mean? I'm gonna pay. I'm gonna pay. Sometimes there's documentaries on there that are on Netflix that I like to watch. Little shows on there that I watch. So I don't mind paying for the streaming services. I did get rid of Crave because I just didn't find enough on there, but I might have to get it back because I think that's where all the HBO Max stuff is going to. I went here in Canada, but don't quote me on that, so I'm not sure. But at the end of the day, I don't think any one of these streaming services can even come close to Netflix yet. If I would say the potential because of what's going to happen would be HBO Max. You know what I mean? Because HBO Max has a chance to at least surpass Disney with all the movies that are coming out and the subscriptions that they're probably going to get for it. But at the end of the day, Disney dropped another bomb too, which could up their subscriptions. It's just we don't know when their stuff is coming out. We know when HBO Max stuff is coming out. Christmas Day, man, Wonder Woman, subscription rate's going to go sky high on that day, or if it hasn't already. But right now, best streaming service is still Netflix.
Okay. Very, very good. And LDG.
Let me just double check. Did you post the question into the chat? Did you?
Yes, I did. I can do it again though.
What is no. I'm not incompetent. What is the best streaming service currently offered? Okay, technically it is currently offered. It's not completed yet. Okay, I'm ready to go. Let's do this.
All right, 3 minutes. Time starts now.
Yes. Unlike some people that need to clear their throat, the best streaming service offered right now, even though it's not completed, is in fact Prometheus. It's going to be the only streaming service that actually allows everybody to stream everything they need to stream.
Ego checked. Okay, listen. Come on. It doesn't exist yet.
Can you give me a minute? I was getting to that point. Allow everybody to stream what they need and still make their money for free. Everything, the whole 9 yards. You name it, they got it. Now, as far as ones that are available right now, that you can actually download and are somewhat complete, they're all playing their own games. Every single streaming service out there, I haven't found one yet that isn't pulling our tails in one way or another. Whether it's Netflix, Disney, Hulu, do I really need to name them all? They either cost money, they come with tags, or they treat us like sheeple depending on where we are. What's a worldwide internet service that actually tells you what you can and cannot watch depending on where you are physically on this planet? That's a joke. Netflix does that, especially when it's easily circumventable by using what the only thing a VPN is actually good for, and that's location tracking, because God knows it sucks for everything else, like security or anything like that. They're all doing their own thing. Netflix has their, I do like the fact that Netflix, you can find a lot of stuff on Netflix that you can't find in other places, though there is some of that on other streaming services. But they're all basically the same. Even Disney, HBO, Hulu, they got their own content. Some of it's here, some of it's there. One of the things I'm not liking what they're doing is some of them are making you pay for the entire year, even when you want a monthly service. And thinking that they can do this and forcing it upon us is a load of crap. And I wish they would stop. If you only want it for a month, you should only have to pay that month. And it should be the amount of money, not extra. Saying, oh, well, it's only $12 a month, but you have to pay for the full year. But it's $25 if you want to pay month to month. Another bullshit game that they're pulling off on us. Another thing that's really pissing me off, especially Netflix is notorious for this, is that Netflix is, they talk about cancel culture. They are canceling shows. They are buying shows out, firing half the staff, lowering the amount of episodes by half, and then immediately the next season they come out, they destroy it, and that gets canceled. The show gets canceled. Look what they did with Designated Survivor, or Lucifer. I mean, the list goes on and on of IPs they buy, and the next season they come out, they completely destroy the entire thing. It is literally a joke. Now we're going to see what happens with what CBS is doing with Trek, and what Disney's doing with what they're hitting up. What I would like to see is a streaming service that includes everybody and allows everybody to bring their content out without hurting the viewer, and giving them the platform they need to do this in a safe way that doesn't come with bells, whistles, and extra bills and bullshit in terms of service. I wonder what that would be.
Okay. Very well, very well, very well. Yeah, so I agree. Netflix. I mean, I'm like Onzo. I have Amazon Prime. I like it. I have Hulu. It's pretty good. Animaniacs are on there, so that's a plus to me. I have Disney Plus, like that. But I mean, I have a hard time just going down to one, because they've all done a very good job of having just enough that you want, that you kind of want to do all of them. Because I'm seriously thinking of picking up HBO Max also. I also have access to DC's stuff, and which has CW content on it also. But yeah, and I have access to CBS and NBC also, Peacock. But there's just so many of them out there. But Netflix has always had the max amount of stuff. I mean, I remember being able to go online and, click your 3 movies every, I think it was like month. And they'd send you your 3 movies in the mail, and then you send them back. But Netflix has been around forever. Netflix is the original Blockbuster killer. As soon as you didn't have to drive down the block to Blockbuster because you could order it on your computer.
What was its original name?
No. Blockbuster.
No. What was Netflix's original name?
As far as I know, it was Netflix. I think it was always Netflix.
No, it used to be a streaming service that was called something else. Hold on. Do your thing else. I'll look for it.
But I remember originally going to Blockbuster, and that's how you got all that stuff. And then Netflix came out, and they started saying, "Hey, you don't have to do that." And then they got smart, centralized it, put it on, so you could just click on it and live stream it right there. And then they said, "Oh, we can do programming and all that." They got decent programming. Sometimes it's not great, but they, I love the Dave Chappelle comedy that it did. They have a couple other shows on there that I liked. They also have, what was that?
Couple. They only have a couple. They killed everything else.
Like the comedians in or Coffee and Cars was the one that has Jerry Seinfeld on there. He goes around with comedians, and they talk about cars and just generic stuff. I'm okay with that. I like that. They're coming out with some stuff with Eddie Murphy. But you bring up a very good point. They've bought out so many other IPs that they bring it out. They put it out for like one new season, and then they said, we're done. And why? What's the point of that? I mean, it's because they want to own it, so they can just constantly make people pay for it to come there, because now you can't go to a different service, or you can't find it. Lucifer is a very good example too. Designated Survivor, you mentioned that too. 3 minutes to talk about this together. But Netflix is the one that has been doing it the longest and made money doing it. So much like LDG always says about, Prometheus, is that, when somebody holds the reins, they kind of do what they want and make you have to jump through the hoops, when it should be the other way around. You're the consumer. You should be able to go onto a service and say, "Hey, I want to watch this." And I think, truthfully, there should be a way to say, "Oh, I want to watch a Disney show, but I have Netflix. How much extra do I have to pay to watch this Disney show?" And they should have some sort of a cross, something.
Nothing.
Well, LDG said that Netflix be buying these shows and and messing them up. But to be honest with you, only way Netflix gets these shows is after they were canceled on TV, and Netflix buys them up and maybe gives them a last season or something. That's what happened with Lucifer, anyways.
No. That's not what happened with Lucifer.
Yes, it is.
Yes, Lucifer was getting canceled, but you're leaving out the most important thing. It's like buying a dog and then neutering him. Okay, they ripped apart Lucifer. Okay, they fired people. They cut the episodes. They cut the production. They didn't just buy out Lucifer and continue it. They neutered Lucifer, and it took serious acting and some serious plot to actually make Lucifer, because Lucifer was canceled.
Yes,
and it was that last season that saved its ass to get another season. But this is Netflix. Not the only episode on Netflix. Yes.
Yeah, but Netflix has the right
on Netflix.
But Netflix then has the right to get rid of those guys that they think because they bought the show. So if they don't like what they were doing, it's like, hey, fire you.
They're not doing just that. They're killing the show.
It's not about what they want. It's about what we want.
The show.
Yes, we're the ones watching. It's not about what they want. It was called
Kibble.
It's our show.
Yes, Kibble. That's correct.
Yeah, that's what it was
Kibble?
called.
I don't remember that. Yeah. That must have been a long time ago.
It was. But I remember that. Go ahead.
But Netflix is not doing that with all the shows because they didn't do that with Cobra Kai. They're not killing Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai was their proper. Wait, where did they get that from? Amazon?
Cobra Kai was bought from YouTube. It was a YouTube Prime show.
Yes, yeah.
And it was bought
because
from
YouTube couldn't afford to continue to do it.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm saying that you can't say that they're just trying to kill the shows because they would have been doing everything. They'd be killing that too.
I understand what you're saying, but
I'm not saying all of them. Both more than enough of them. I would say a majority of them they are killing. They're getting lucky here and there.
They've come from network TV. The majority of the network TV bought IPs that they have are basically being canceled. Like they'll put a season of it out and then they'll cancel it. Now, the difference between that and like Cobra Kai was never a network thing. It was always internet based. And I think there's something about that Netflix is just trying to prove a point, maybe. I don't know that for sure, but yeah, so but I mean Netflix really holds the crown right now, and until somebody literally smacks them down, which I don't think will ever happen. I think HBO Max will give them a run. Hulu's safe. I think the ones that have to worry about, and this may sound weird, is Disney Plus and like Apple TV. Those two, because they're relying right now mostly on old product or a product that people have seen 1,000 times. Because like Apple TV bought the rights to Friends, didn't they?
I have no idea.
Somebody did, but anyway.
Yeah, it used to be on Netflix, but Netflix got rid of it, and someone else bought it. But you know.
I put this up there because I know you guys are big Star Trek fans, so I thought this might be an interesting question for you guys. And I like Star Trek, but I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say about this. What faction or race is the most troublesome in Star Trek for Starfleet?
For Starfleet?
Yeah, just for Starfleet. I'm going with like Federation. Not Federation, but Starfleet itself. What is the most troublesome faction or race? So who would like to go first? LDG, would you like to go first this time?
Are you going first out of the question? Because I actually do need to think about this a minute.
Okay, Nzo, do you want to go first?
I have nothing about Star Trek, so I think
I'll go first. I'll go first.
Okay, go ahead.
Chris wants to save the best for last, and so be it there. And I don't care if you ego check me for that. All right, listen. Troublesome for Star Trek. Obviously, the Borg is one of the most favorite troublesome species, mainly because they vacuum suck the technology and biological distinctiveness of the entire damn quadrant, compresses it into a nice little cube, and throws it at you. I don't think there's any species or faction out there that is the highest threat for Federation. Now, they have like basically neutered the Borg, gave their ships a remote garage door opener, as seen in Picard. Easy little bullshit ways of destroying them, but in all seriousness, if the Borg wanted to, the Star Trek would be done if they actually ever came to the Federation at full force. I mean, they even admitted that First Contact, as great as that movie was an absolute and complete letdown, a piece of crap garbage, because the Borg Cube, the Borg Collective, would never send a single ship after the first ship got sent. They would have sent an entire armada. But unfortunately, the writers originally, that was the original idea of First Contact. And they said, well, you know what? We just kind of wrote ourselves into a freaking wall now, because there's nothing we can do. The Federation is not strong enough to face the Borg. I mean, they would get destroyed if even 20 cubes headed to Earth right now. And they would get annihilated, assimilated inside and out. So as far as the most troublesome, it would have to be the Borg. Now, you do have other races like the shapeshifters. Okay. I guess they could be somewhat troublesome, seeing that they can change shape and attack from within and do all this crazy stuff. And one of the theories I have, they can merge together into one humongous planet-sized spaceship that just crushes entire starships and swats them like flies. But we didn't actually see that on screen. They could be troublesome too. But as far as the rest, the Romulans and
who was
the Romulans? That was the shape. That was the changelings. The changelings from DS9. But as far as like the Romulans or the Andorians, or the Vulcans, not really so much troublesome, more than just other races out there that they need to work with, and maybe they have a squabble or two or not about. But I would definitely put, now, yeah, species 8472, but even they proved to be just like another race that's diplomatic and whatnot. So really the only threat I would say, hands down, is the Borg.
Okay. Do you have anything, Nzo?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna have to agree with LDG Pickles. It has to be the Borg. And with that being said, I could care less about any of the Star Trek villains or any of them. I hate Star Trek. I mean, it's only until the J.J. Abrams ones came around that I actually started. Well, no, that's not true. That's a lie. Okay, I love Wrath of Khan. I think Wrath of Khan is the best Star Trek movie that they've made to date. But the rest of the movies for me were meh. First Star Trek movie, trash. Third one, trash. Fourth one, trash. Generations one's trash. Didn't like them. Wasn't a big fan of Star Trek. So that's why, like, unless we're talking about the Borg, which I know from some of the episodes and from other movies, that they seem to be the most powerful bad guys out there for me, anyways, from what I know. But like I said, man, for me, I just never been a fan of Star Trek. J.J. Abrams came out with his movies, and I was like, okay, this is really good. And the reason why I liked them is because they were more like Star Wars than Star Trek, So I was like getting into them and all that stuff. I do like Discovery because, again, it's modernized and it's more like a Star Wars type of thing than it is like Star Trek. At least that's what I hear from Star Trek fans, But guys like LDG Pixels will tell you that it's the death of Star Trek and blah, 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 blah. And, to me, it's just they do the same thing with Star Wars, so I kind of understand where it's coming from. I do. But at the same time, being on the other side where you're defending a show like Discovery that you like and all the hardcore fans are trashing it, I kind of understand how the Star Wars fans feel. You know what I mean? The ones that like the sequels and are like, the sequels are this and that, and every day they got to hear me or, you know, whoever doesn't like them trash the sequels constantly. You know, it gets kind of annoying. So I try not to trash the Star Trek movies anymore or shows. I just did it on here to be funny, but you know, people like what they're gonna like, and for me, I just never got into them, man. Like the Kirk ones, I watched the shit Next Generation a bit. I thought it was okay. You know what I mean? It wasn't great. I didn't watch the Janeway series. I didn't watch Enterprise. I watched Picard and I watched Star Trek Discovery. That's basically the extent of my Star Trekness. I did watch all the movies though. I've seen every Star Trek movie to date. So at least I am there in the movies, but TV shows I have nothing. No, nothing. Okay. So,
yeah, very good. All right. I'm kind of disappointed that LDG didn't bring this one up. Q, flat out Q. He is Q. They are Q. It's never fully explained, but they show up in everything, and they don't really care whatever Federation or whatever Starfleet ship is there. It's just they're like, we're bored, let's do something with them. I thought it was such a novel concept at the beginning of Next Generation was this confrontation with Q, and then you go through this whole series, and it happens at the end that he basically says, you've proven me right. Just this whole thought about a being that is everywhere and nowhere and has this power to change things around people that they don't. I mean, things changed literally around the crew constantly. Yes, the Borg is very tough. They're very hard to beat. They could destroy the Federation, but so could Q, I think. I think he could just say, well, yes, and there's the other thing. Q just pissed you off because he was so, he was so just, I don't know, I guess egotistical is the word that you could use. It was just like, the people were a problem for him. And it's like, but you came here and you bothered us. It's like, but Q is always what I got to see here. Shiftyism says Q would be like the UN being concerned with God. Well, yeah, and that's the thing. It's like he is, but they know Q exists in the Star Trek universe. So he is the hardest thing that they could ever fight because they don't even know what he is. They don't even know how to fight him. They never did. Every time he shows up, it's just kind of like they had to deal with him. And yes, the Borg, again, are very tough, but at least you know what you're fighting. They know ways to destroy them. They've had their success, but they've destroyed their ships. They've destroyed the Borg. They've unassimilated people even. So there's some bit of, I guess, research. There's precedent set for how to deal with the Borg, but not with Q. Q is always an unknown every time he shows up. 3 minutes on the board. We can discuss this.
Hold on.
All right, real quick.
Hold on. First off, Danny, Star Trek to me is not fire. I think it's trash. That's my opinion. 2, I did watch Deep Space Nine, and it was the worst one out of everyone I mentioned.
Oh,
God, you're lucky I can't ego chip your ass, right?
Worst one. Horrible.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Prometheus.
PS9 was that bad? Come on. Come on.
Oh my god, it was so trash.
I don't think so, but okay. All right, 3 minutes. Let's go.
All right, first of all, Q is not troublesome. Okay, there's a reason why I didn't bring Q up, and that's because they're not troublesome. Q are the self-anointed guardians of the galaxy. Their job is to keep order in the universe. Okay, they are actually the good guys in Star Trek. Okay, they might have rubbed off on the wrong way, but you have to be that way to children. And that's what the Federation is to the Q. The Q can snap their finger and make everything disappear. No shit, right? Duh. They're the Q. Okay, excuse me. But that's their job. They were never troublesome, and never any episode were they actually troublesome. They were trying to help the humans become something better than they are. Now they did it arrogantly. They did it down talking to them.
So that
they did it in ways that you would do it to your own children.
Never caused them trouble.
No, they saved them. The Q saved the Federation.
But he did. They did cause trouble.
No, they're the reasons why the Borg didn't assimilate the Alpha Quadrant.
Yes, I understand that. My point is that you go ask my son right now and ask him, am I troublesome? Well, I can. I'll do that. If you ask him if I'm troublesome, he would probably say yes. That doesn't mean I'm not right in what I try to do with him. It is the viewpoint of Starfleet, I think, that they would view him as troublesome, or they as troublesome. Again, whatever Q is.
Okay.
But I mean, and I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying that's my viewpoint. And then again,
yeah, your definition of troublesome, just like your definition of backstory, is a little crazy compared to mine. I understand that. Yes.
Oh,
no. The Ferengi were trouble.
I'm sorry. Ego check. Much. You see, you'd much rather do that on Anzo's show, because I don't think he'd done anything about that. Maybe he would. I don't know. But
at least Anzo can empathize with what I said there. Anyway,
that one
I'll do it again. Dude, they weren't troublesome. I'm sorry. Definition of troublesome, way out of the way. If I pushed you out of the way of a car about to hit you, and you scraped your knee, would you call me a bully for saving your life? Would you call me an offender? I assaulted you. Would you call me an assaultant? Because that's exactly what they did. They pushed. They did it in a way that came off arrogant and whatnot, but they saved everybody's lives.
I didn't say that it didn't happen. I'm not saying
their intentions were overall good for the entire, not just the galaxy, but for the entire universe.
So when my boss tells me that if I make, let's say I'm building a wall, and I say, well, why don't we just do it this way? And he says, no, we need to do it this way. Well, it's troublesome for me if it causes more work and stuff, even if it's right. There is such thing as troublesome, even if somebody is right.
That's subjective, though. It's troublesome to you, but it's actually positive to the situation as a whole. And it's not troublesome.
It's all a matter of how you look at it, or not to quote exactly, but that's basically, it all depends from a certain point of view. I mean, I guess that's the difference. That's why we do these things. It's because you're not wrong. The Borg, yes, the Borg are the ones that overtly come across first. I just think Q it always came across as troublesome, right or wrong, that he may or they may have been. I just think he was troublesome, but that's why we do these. That's why we do these. All right, let's see here. Third and final topic. Nice. We talked about this, but this is similar. But should companies who buy IPs and change canon, like CBS or Disney, continue stories based on worldwide focus groups primarily for continuity? So let me make sure I got this copied, and we'll go here. All right. Who would like to go first on this one?
Don't care. I can go first if Nzo doesn't.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
All right.
3 minutes on the board, and LDG, go.
Absolutely, because this is it, guys. When you have the original creators, or what I like to call canon, okay, because anything past the original the original creators is by definition not canon, okay. They're gonna screw it up. They're gonna do what they want to do and take in a direction that they want. Well, guess what? You bought that IP from the original creator. The original creator gave that story to us, not you. Okay? It's our story. Whether or not we continue to watch it, whether we continue to purchase the merchandise or talk about it or stream about it on YouTube, it is ours, not yours, no matter, I don't care what anyone says about you owning the damn IP. The original creator is gone. So wouldn't it be smart to say, okay, I got this IP. This IP belonged to an original creator that was given to the viewers that has turned it into a phenomenon above and beyond a multi-billion-dollar idea, movies, shows, cartoons, merchandise. Why not? Now, I understand the problem. The problem is you don't have the tools to actually do a worldwide focus group. I wonder if somebody would make a program that would be able to help you fix that. That being said, if you actually did have the tools to do that, I don't know, like say Project Prometheus, you would be able to reach out and have an effective resource to say, guys, what would you think of this? What would you think of this? What would you think of this? Let us input that data and feed back to you. So that way you have pure data analytics on responses to where this new purchased IP that originally wasn't yours to begin with, that is only existing because of what we made it, not what you made it, have some say on where to go. Now you can say, well, they have private focus groups, but those are skewed. Anybody knows the focus groups that they do are skewed. There is no private focus groups that can give you a generalized worldwide view. But we have the internet now. We have the infrastructure in place with cell phones. Everybody's got computers today that they didn't before. And then you got this one guy, the LDG, that can actually make a public forum where you can make it super simple and just ask your questions and get pure and information back. Should the Jedis go this way? Do you want to see this person, that person? What would you think about the storyline taking this track or that track? Or would you like this series or that series? And that information, the beautiful part about that is that's the information that you can hold lock, stock, and barrel. You don't have to tell the answers. You just use that as the guide to say what you're going to make on your next show. What's the next storyline, the next plot? You don't need to make that information public. As long as you use the information and you ask for the information and you use the information in order to make an IP that you purchased 1,000,000 times better and most likely guaranteed that people still follow.
Very good, very good, very good. Except for all the product placement. My God, get the product already. If you're going to talk about the product, have the product, please. You're teasing us, man. That's like a woman walking around in a bra and panties down Central Avenue.
Oh, wait,
Come
did
on.
you say Project Prometheus again? Because I think it put me to sleep. So my bad.
Yeah, see, I thought you'd say that. So, all right, 3 minutes. Nzo, your turn. Go.
Okay, so first off, if I buy an IP from somebody, then I have the right to do whatever I want with it. Now, it's my issue whether I destroy it or not. If I do that, then that's on my fault. But to sit there and think that we should have focus groups and listen to the fans and all of this stuff, I think that is absolutely asinine, because they did that on Rise of the Skywalker. If you look at it, you go back to all the Reddit posts, everything that was in a Reddit post was a fan service type of thing, and Rise of Skywalker is one of the worst Star Wars movies ever. All they need to do is have a good story. That's it. That's all, plain and simple. And we've had many movies that have good stories, so it's possible. George Lucas did not consult with fans to find out how he should do the prequels. He did not consult with fans to find out how he did the originals. There's not really much producers out there that, if any, consulted a fan about what they want to do with their movies. I mean, they put out the trailer to Sonic. and they heard the backlash for the way Sonic looked and they changed it. That is fine. But to sit there and say, well, let's have a focus group and find out what everybody wants to see, it's just not feasible. Plus, two, we as fans, especially us, like we love Star Wars and we love this and we're fans, but we are a minority to the fans that actually go and see it. We're the comic book fans. We're the ones that are like, this has to be this way or else I'm not going to like it and that or that. That's a minority. We're not the ones that are putting these movies over $1 billion. You know, we help it. But the ones that are putting it over $1 billion and over $2 billion, is it connecting with everybody, not just the fans? So for me, I think that if you have an IP, if I buy an IP, if I were to buy Star Wars and I wanted to do what I wanted to do with it, no one can tell me that I can't. It's my IP. It's not the fans' IP. It's mine to do whatever I want to do with it. I know you deleted the comment because it was a little bit rude, but Harry Osborn was right. If I buy a car that's red and I want to paint the red blue, I have the right to do that. I paid my money for that car, so I have the right to do whatever I want to. And if I make movies that people that don't like, then that is on me. But I would do a lot more research. I would do whatever it takes to get a good story in place to make sure that these movies are actually good. And that's the reason why these Star Wars movies weren't good, is because they didn't have a direction. They don't have to go to fans to get the direction. They just have to know what they're doing from start to finish.
Interesting thoughts. Interesting thoughts indeed. Okay. 3 minutes for me. You're both kind of right. Yeah, unfortunately, it is Disney's right to do that. It is CBS's right to do that. The difference is look at the original creators and how they did it. They didn't go out of their way to piss off their fans. They listened to their fans and they said, "This is what my fans want to see. This is what they want to do." There's a middle ground on this. You don't just come in, swoop in, and say, we're going to do what the hell we want to do with it, and you're going to like it. No, you should probably think, hey, maybe we should, if we're going to touch the Skywalker saga, we're going to go ahead and keep George Lucas around to help us with that side of it, because that's his. When we branch off to do our own thing, then we can do that. Because you're taking something that already has something started, and you do not just go into it and say, nope, and rewrite the rule book. That's like saying Random House or Upper Room or any of these companies that buy the rights to print the Bible. They don't go through and literally rewrite the Bible just because they own it, the rights to print it. They have to look at it and say, hey, guys, we have to honor what's here. Disney's starting to get it, I think. I think they're starting to see that. And Anzo's brought it up many times. They made money off of Star Wars. They did. There's no doubts about that. It's just, it pissed so many people off where the money and the residuals used to come from, which was products and, you know, the Disney toys and the toy aisle. That dried up immediately, because nobody cared about these characters anymore. Nobody cared because there wasn't Luke Skywalker anymore. There wasn't Han Solo anymore. There wasn't the speeder bikes or this or that. They just threw stuff up on a screen that nobody gave a crap about. George Lucas looked at it and he did a lot of study on that. That's why originally he wanted the rights to do products and put that out. If they had followed that and done what had been worked in the past, it would have been better. Do they have the right to trash it? Sure they do, but why? Where's the plus side of that? You would think that a company would take it and honor the fact that people like Gene Roddenberry cared what the fans thought. He cared about how people perceived this universe. He didn't throw in F-bombs just because he could do it on cable. He tried to formulate stuff that people attached to. People cared about these characters and stuff, not just random cardboard cutouts that matched up with an ideology or other things like that. These George Lucas and Gene Roddenberry cared what the fans thought, and thought about that first, not about money, because money they knew would come if they gave the fans what they wanted. 3 minutes. We'll talk about this together.
I need to clarify something.
Go ahead.
Real quick. You bring up a good point, and so did Mr. whatever his name was. But I want to make clear, because it's one thing to sound entertaining and try to make a point, but then you have those people that bring back that ignore the original question. Should they do it? It's not, do they have a right? No shit, Sherlock. Of course they have the right to do whatever the hell they want. And I'm not saying that they don't. That's what the game is now. That is what's happening now. They buy something, you can eat your burger now, eat it later, you can screw up a cut. That's the defaults, of course. Yes, and I have nothing against that. The question is, should they? What are the benefits? Should they listen to the people if you buy an IP like that? Yes, you can do whatever the hell you want. But let me tell you something. If you actually did listen to the people, I think you would have so many more opportunities and a way forward, because look what happened with Star Wars. They didn't listen to nobody, and everything beyond the movie, yeah, they made money on the movie, but they dried up everywhere else. The merchandise went down the drain. Everything else went down the drain. It backfired in their face.
Merchandise was going down way before Disney bought Star Wars.
Doesn't matter. It didn't go up. It didn't go up.
Yes, it was.
It didn't go up.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. When the prequels came out, the toys weren't selling that great either. Like, let's be real.
They sold a lot better, though. I'm just saying
they may have sold better. I agree with that, but they weren't selling like crazy numbers like when the originals, because one, by that time, kids were getting off of toys. Video games were coming in.
And that's what I'm saying.
I don't see nobody getting Picard. I don't see nobody getting Picard merchandise or what you call
Lucas realized that. That's why Lucas had his own gaming division to do that. He understood that, but I'm just saying that he adapted because he listened to fans. He's like, well, obviously this is going away. I'm still going to do it because, well, people are going to buy these. There's collectors, there's things like that, because that's primarily what the prequels were, was collectors buying that stuff.
Exactly. But this is what I'm saying, though. Like I said, yes, when Disney bought it, they should have consulted George Lucas. They didn't have to consult the fans. George Lucas is the one they should have consulted. Fans, us as fans, we're not movie directors. We could say what we want to see, and that's what people talk about all the time, what they want to see and this and that. But when it comes out, I mean, look what Marvel's did. Marvel hasn't discussed anything with the fans, and most of those movies are good.
Yeah, if the original creator still wants to be a part of it, that's fine. But usually when you buy something out like that, they don't. It's gone. It's moving on. Or they're dead, like Star Trek.
Lucas was
now you're telling me, and just for 15 seconds right now, you're telling me if there was an app that said guaranteed, here's the questions about how the next Star Wars is going to be, you're not going to download it and input you say no to it?
I would download it.
If Disney came out with an app that said,
care about
give us your input about what you want.
If they ask for it, yes. But do they have
Thank
to?
You.
No,
I win. That's all I needed to know.
You win.
Wait, but no. I mean, here's the thing. Anzo's right. You're right. Here's the thing.
Oh yeah, we're both right.
It is not the job of fans to like literally go into the studio and start trying to direct the movie. It's our jobs as fans to explain what we want. Like, for instance, with Star Wars.
That's all I asked for.
With Star Wars,
I know what they want.
Some don't, some do. Like, a lot of fans want to see the Old Republic stuff. Well, you do a poll. You're like, who wants to do this? And it's just like anything else. That's analytics. What?
If that's the case, I can understand that. But to say, okay, yeah, we're doing the Old hold on.
But that's what.
Hold on. But to say we're doing the Old Republic show, do you guys want to see this happen in the movie, or this happen in the movie, or this happen in the movie? That's stupid.
You don't give them 5,000 choices. You give it. Listen, first off, you need people who can understand Star Wars or Star Trek, because you do have to have that outline. You can say, okay, we've got the idea that we can do.
What movie company is doing that now, Chris?
Oh, look, go to Vegas. They do it all over.
No. What movie
they pull you
doing that now?
They won't tell you because listen to me. That's not how focus groups work. They will not tell you outright who is doing the research, because that can taint the results. Because if they know Disney's coming in and asking your opinion of the next Star Wars, well, then somebody's going to sit there and go, we don't want to do that. There's normally outside agencies who do it for that, and that's what all focus groups are based off of. You go through thousands of these little store areas, and the ones that don't have people in them in Vegas, they pop these research groups in there that do this. They'll show you the new pilot to some show that will never make it to air, but that's because they ask all these questions and they say, "Hey, what did you think about the dad of the series?" Well, he's an idiot, and I don't like him because he doesn't have any personality. And well, they write that down, and they're like, okay. When they go back to the director or to the people who make it and say, well, they didn't like this, and this, and then they retool it, come out with something else. That's how focus groups work. It's not letting them make the decision. It's taking information and handing it back to them and saying, hey.
That is correct. If they're doing that to update your show, I'm talking about you're going in there with nothing and you're saying, well, this is what we're going to do.
You can't do that. You can't. No. And that's what I was trying to say. That's what I was trying to say, is that you do have to have the writers. You do have to have the idea. But like, for instance, with Star Wars, let's say they said, okay, well,
absolutely,
we might want to do the Old Republic. We may want to do something that's just about Sith. We may want to do this. We may want to do that. Let's take these 4 ideas we have, and let's go to a focus group and say, hey, if these movies were to get made, which one would you be more excited for? They do that. That may be as simple. That's what we're talking about doing.
But that's not what he was talking about. He's talking about going in there and listening to the fans about their stories and making their stories. And I'm like, no.
Well,
no. That's maybe that's the way it sounds. What questions you ask, how you present it, what you have when you ask the questions. That is something they have to evolve. I'm not going to give you the how, why, how that. I was trying to explain it like layman's terms here for you, and maybe it came off like I'm trying to say, here's a blank sheet. Tell me what you want on the movie. No, that's not what I'm saying.
And then focus again, group, at the same time, you can, in a way, go to people with a blank sheet, but not with a blank sheet. That's
not that blank sheet.
No. But here's the thing. This is a very horrible, in my opinion, horrible way of putting it. But 50 Shades of Grey was pulled off of a small fan fiction website for Twilight. And somebody did go there and say, ooh, they've got something that we should do. So they contacted this person. This person wrote 3 books, and then it became a movie. That does happen, but you don't go up to them with a blank sheet. You skim through these fan fiction websites. You go through these fan films and stuff, and they do pull ideas from there too, if they're smart. Because, but they don't hand out that blank sheet. You're absolutely right, Nzo. You don't hand out a blank sheet because you're right. These people don't know what they're doing, but you do look for inspiration from other places. And I don't think Disney looked for inspiration from anybody on the sequel trilogies. I mean, what do you think? Do you think they went to anybody other than themselves?
No, because they had an agenda.
Okay, and that's the thing.
That's
I
what
think
we're
that's
talking
the problem
about.
Because CBS has done the same thing. CBS fired tons of writers that had written for Gene Roddenberry and his family for years, and people who understood the very core foundation of what Star Trek was. And I don't know this for a fact. I've just heard that this is what they did. They literally fired everybody who had ever written anything that people considered decent of Star Trek, and then brought in new people that was going to write their agenda into everything. And that's not how you make a product. And yes, do they have the right? Sure, they do. They do. But what's the point of it? Why do it? But
because they're going with the times. I don't know if it's right to do that. I think it's stupid. You go with story first, and if you want to put your agenda in it, as long as you have a good story in it, you can hide whatever fucking agenda you want.
That's what I always say. Yes, there's a way to do it, and there's a right way and there's a wrong way. And I think right now they're just so more about
you guys watch Stargirl. Stargirl has agendas in that movie.
I have heard that Stargirl did a very good job of writing, but that's because the guy who created Stargirl's
was the comic book creator, right? So the show, he had his straight up input in the show.
Yeah, so he said, if you're going to do it, I have to be there, and that's what I'm talking about, though. That's the creator. Somebody bought the IP to use it, but they were smart enough to say, "Okay, come on in, and if you want to help us," and I know they're paying them. I mean, they're not.
No. The thing was, it was because it's on his sister that died, so he wasn't gonna let anybody mess that up. And they said if he's gonna do, he has to do the show, which I agree. I think George kind of had that deal, but it wasn't written in paper on the contract, and that's why Disney had the right to say, well, no, we're not going to go with what you did. But if he had actually put that in the contract, then and we can't say that George Lucas doesn't want to be involved because he's still there. You know what I mean? He's still asking him questions and stuff. If he didn't want to be involved, George Filoni would say, hey, George, you want to come to set and watch what we're doing? He would have, nah. You know what I mean? So it's his baby.
No, I agree.
He still wants something to do with it. The only thing is, he probably trusted Kathleen Kennedy way too much and figured that she would follow his lead. He didn't need to put it in the contract because he had Kathleen Kennedy there who would have his back, and she didn't.
I think the Roddenberry family trusted CBS way too much, thinking that this whole basing a streaming service around Star Trek is, I mean, that's kind of all I ever hear about CBS All Access is only Star Trek. Maybe I don't know why, but it's
like that's all they have, to be honest with you.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that I think the Roddenberry family was lulled into this thought of not resurrecting. That's the wrong word, because I don't think Star Trek was dead before all this, and I still don't think it's dead. I just think it's on life support heavily. I think that was the problem that the Roddenberry family had, is that they lulled them into this thought that we're going to bring Star Trek back to the front of everybody's thought, and they may have done that, but they did it in a horrible way. But I mean,
I agree with you. That's the thing. And with what happened to George, because I knew the Star Trek thing came after George Lucas, right? So after you seeing what happened to George, if you want to protect your property, you put that shit in the contract.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You put that in the contract, but whatever, you know.
You know, that's why we have these conversations, because there's lots of different angles to look at. I think we all agree that
to say that either.
What?
It's not easy to say that, because then they wouldn't want to buy it in the first place.
Yeah.
That's
something in the contract.
That's absolutely not true, because you can do it in a way where you can still do what you want to do, but also if you're thinking you're going to buy Star Wars, which is going to be billion-dollar movies for 10 years to come, and you're spending 4 movies, you just got to consult George Lucas. I think they would have put that in the contract. I think
consulting and actually doing anything about it is two different. I can consult all day long. You don't have to actually take my advice.
Yeah.
Putting in the contract that if you consult me, you have to do what I say is a deal breaker on my book.
Well, that's your book, but they did it with Stargirl, so it's possible. But they did it with Stargirl, so it's possible.
I would say that
I'm not talking about anything.
I would still say that the studio somewhere in that contract has it to where they have an upper hand on that.
Like that.
Disney would never sign a contract that they don't have control.
Exactly.
They just wouldn't do it, Nzo.
Let's go around the board. Let's go around the board and talk about ourselves one more time. Nzo, go ahead and tell everybody about yourself, where you can be found, and what you got the OOC tonight, right?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Tonight. Fuck.
Well, why don't you talk about that? Well, I'm glad I mentioned
it. I don't know. I think I might cancel it. I'm not sure yet. We'll see.
Okay.
But, other than that, Biggaford Entertainment, Rule of 3, Chaos Conversation, Chaos List. You guys can come check out the channel, subscribe to the channel. I just got a new subscriber, which is Parrot Head. So thank you for that. But other than that, you guys, I do appreciate all the support you guys give us. So thanks.
Indeed. LDG, go ahead and tell them about yourself.
Yes, take it from the guy who used to work for the Mouse and would guarantee us time and a half if we worked 8 hours between shifts. And guess how they did to get around that? I would have 8 hours and 15 minutes of sleep between my shifts. So yeah, they have full control, even if it's in the contract. LDG Pixels, guys, have any tech issues, IT needs, whatnot. come hit me up on LDG Pixels and Pixelate. If you're not watching anybody else, I'm doing the waiting room, the place to stream between the streams, to hang out, kick up your feet, open panels, open topics. You never know what's happening in the waiting room. Sometimes the waiting room is even more exciting than the stream you're waiting for. Every day is different, so come check it out. Also, Project Prometheus, change the world, a better way for tomorrow. Love you all. Thanks for watching. Thanks for having me. And you kept saying Danny, but I didn't see him in the chat. Where?
No, he was. Comic Chat's in there.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta look for Comic Chat. That's how he comes in on his channel.
I know who Danny is. Thank you very much. I did not see Comic Chat.
Yeah, he was up there, right there, right here. See? Yeah,
He's not on my page. I wonder why.
Don't know. Is it live chat? Or
there he is. Okay, the last time he spoke was okay. Never mind. I see him.
All right. Well, with that said, I am Chris Knight. This has been the Real Review 3000 and Chaos Central. Chaos Central is, I think, only 3 away from 100 subscribers, guys. We need your help with that. If you know somebody who has not yet subscribed, but you think might like this content, please tell them about us. Tell them about Nzo. Tell them about Danny. Tell them about LDG Pixels. There's lots of people we work with on this show. So please follow us, like us, all that stuff. Check out the content. There's plenty of time in the day that we're not streaming that you can go back and watch what we have streamed before. That we've streamed before. So guys, thank you very much. Nzo, LDG, thank you. As always, I greatly appreciate you guys being here. Always a good time. And with that said, if I can find the outro, here it is. Have a good night. Peace.